is Jason Yokoyama, and on behalf of the Seattle Betsuing Buddhist Temple, welcome to today's Earth Day in Music service. Please pause, reflect, and listen for the ringing of the kancho. Reverend Emeritus Don Castro will lead the sutra chanting of Vandana Tisarana, found on page 147 of the White Gatha book.
Sam
The sutra this morning is Musical Service Sambutsuge and Nembutsu, found on page 17 through 21, and followed directly by Ondaksan 2 Ekoku, Japanese only, on page 107.
Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitabha, Namo Amitabha.
Precious earth, keep it green, mindful care, think rebirth, water pure, soil rich, fresh clean air are needed so. Where did it come from, where did it go? Take great care so all may grow. We must work to preserve. If we don't conserve, in our haste there will be waste, changing the balance, polluting the earth. How can we live in harmony? Think of the generations to come, to have water pure, soil rich, fresh clean air, in a spirit of Motanai. Let us strive to work to be sustainable. Beauty always is our wish for Mother Earth to glow.
Awaken to the great way of enlightenment and to the unsurpassed intent of Amida Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we, together with all sentient beings, enter the storehouse of the Dharma, becoming like the wisdom ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we, together with all sentient beings, become units in true accord, in harmony with all things. The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is rare to encounter, even in many hundreds and thousands of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teachings. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Namo Amitabha. Please be seated. Reverend Emeritus Don Castro will deliver today's Dharma message.
I'm going to take my mask off. I hope you don't mind. I'm also going to look for my glasses. Good morning, everyone. Today's Earth Day service and music service, Earth Day music service. And in keeping with the theme, I'm going to sing my sermon this morning, if you don't mind. It's not easy being green, having to spend each day the color of the leaves, when I think it could be nicer being yellow, or red, or yellow, or gold, or something much more colorful like that. But green's the color of spring, and green can be glasses, and green can be cool and friendly like, and green can be big like an ocean, or important like a mountain, or tall like a tree. I don't want to go through the whole song. I'll finish. I'm green and it'll do fine. I always loved Mr. Rogers, who would say, you're fine just as you are. That's a really Jodo Shinshu theme, just as I am. How grateful I am that just as I am embraced in boundless compassion and kindness, that fills the whole universe, kindness and compassion. Of course, there's meanness too out there, but ultimately, kindness and compassion is the strongest force in the universe. It's something we are all headed towards. Now, does anyone know the famous person that Earth Day, which is actually this coming Saturday, it falls on his birthday, and it's his 185th birthday today, and it's the 53rd anniversary of Earth Day. Does anyone know who this famous person is? He lived in Martinez, California, part of the time, in his later years. Anyone know? He's really, really a remarkable person. Oh, yes.
It's either John Muir or David Brown.
It's John Muir. Yeah, John Muir. And I've been to his home in Martinez, but he spent a remarkable amount of time up at the Sierra Nevada mountains and all over the world. He actually traveled all around the world. And he would have been 185 today. And I think he would be one of my heroes, along with people like Bill Moyers and Reverend Kusada at the Institute of Buddhist Studies, and a lot of people in the temples that I've known over the years are my culture heroes. They are the people who inspire me. And we have to have lots of people who inspire us, right, in our life. People we could look at and say, I'm going to be like that person, because that person is really a wonderful person, an especially kind person, an especially brave person. So I've been reading over the last year, over the last summer, I was reading some of John Muir, and really, he's a great writer. The only problem is he goes into so much detail. And then there were these trees, and I'm going, oh my gosh, and these plants, and I saw this, and I'm going, I don't know what they are. I can't identify the trees and the plants that he was able to identify. He was really, really an intelligent person and an excellent writer. But one of the things that really struck me about John Muir is that had he known about Buddhism, he would have been a Buddhist. I'm convinced of that. And he wrote something that really, you might say, it's identical with one of the core teachings of Buddhism. Now, you in Dharma School might, I'm sure you'll be able to answer this. The core, the very basic, most important teachings of the Buddha, we learn in Dharma School, there's actually two. What is one of them that would go along with Earth Day? Very, very important idea, very important teaching. Can anyone tell me? Exactly. It's Pratitya Samutpada, right? That's what you've learned in Dharma School. That's one of the core teachings of Buddhism. That's a Sanskrit word, and it really means everything is interdependent. Everything is interrelated. A kind of oneness to the whole universe. Things support each other in profound ways, in very, very deep ways. And so John Muir wrote this, and this is really Buddhist, but this is interesting. John Muir was really influenced by another great person named Henry David Thoreau. And Henry David Thoreau declared that he was a Buddhist. So indirectly, John Muir was influenced by the Dharma, by Buddhism, through his reading of Henry David Thoreau. And this is really early on, for Henry David Thoreau to declare that he was a Buddhist is really remarkable. But anyway, John Muir wrote this. This is really Buddhist. And he wrote this in 1911 in a book called My First Summer in the Sierra. The Sierras are the mountains in California that part of them have over 200% of normal snowfall this year. So they're hoping that we'll have a cool spring and a cool summer so that it won't all melt at one time and flood everything. So far, it's looking pretty good. So far, it's looking pretty good here too. So if you complain about the cold, remember that the farmers over on the east side are saying, great, it's cold, the snow isn't melting so fast. See? So what might be cold for us is good, what we might complain about is actually people are saying, hey, over on the other side of the mountains. Okay, so John Muir wrote this. He said, when we try to pick out anything by itself, we find it hitched to everything else in the universe. That's interrelatedness, that's interdependence. That's what the Buddha was teaching 2,500 years ago. So it's really very remarkable. And another thing about John Muir, if you go up to Paradise Ridge, which is, I'm sure, covered with snow right now, but on Mount Rainier, if you go up there, once the snow melts, you will see on a rock an inscription, a quote from John Muir, because at one time in his life, he visited there, probably when the wildflowers were blooming in August. And I don't know exactly when he went, but he visited Mount Rainier, and they have this quote from John Muir up there. And when I've gone up there, I have seen, I've seen that, and I go up there and I look around the beautiful wildflowers. If anyone hasn't been up there, oh, it's a wonderful trip to take. And we went up there when my wife has a guide dog, and so you can't go on most of the trails. But there's one trail for disabled people that goes up, and it's paved, and it just steep goes up, and you see the volcano out in the distance. Here's these beautiful flowers, and you go, sure hope that volcano doesn't erupt while I'm here. You look up there, and one thing that happened that I will never forget is we're going up. Sparky, her guide dog, is leading us up. We're going up this, and we came across a woman, a lot of disabled people going up there, a woman with a walker. And she was very elderly, but she had this walker, and she couldn't make it. It was too steep. So just like in a sailboat, with her walker, she was tacking from one side of the trail to the other so that she could make it up there. She couldn't go directly, but when you catch the wind, and you can go against the wind actually if you tack in a sailboat. And so here she was, really, really slowly. So we went up and we were looking around. We saw the marmots, and Sparky was, oh, what animal is that? He was really kind of scared of them. And we came back, and this woman had gone up she had made it quite a ways up there, and she was sitting on her walker. And I thought, this is maybe the last time this woman, who this obviously is very precious, for her to come up here and go through all this trouble and to be able to turn around and sit down and look out and see this beautiful view of nature around her. That I will just never forget. The courage, really the courage of that woman, the joy of that woman, being in nature, being in the wildflowers, the alpine flowers, was really amazing. So When I think about that, I think about as I look around and see the cherry trees in bloom. They're fading pretty fast, but they're still in bloom in a lot of places. Pretty nice that I saw this morning. I shouldn't say nice, I should say awesome. And it reminded me of another Buddhist lesson, a Buddhist and a Scout lesson. You know, Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. What is their motto? Somebody's got to know that. It's a good Buddhist motto too. Be prepared, right? Be prepared. So it reminded me of the cherry blossoms in Japan. And in March, we observed the anniversary of the earthquake and tsunami that was a big disaster in Japan. And people in Japan were asking, how can you enjoy going out and looking at the cherry blossoms in bloom at the same time that the country was in mourning for, what was it, 17,000 people or so who perished in that. And it must have been a Buddhist who pointed out, said, the one doesn't negate the other. Mutual, another word for a way of explaining pratitya samutpada is mutual co-arising. Things arise together. So you have this disaster and you have the cherry blossoms. They're both at the same time. And that's actually, when you think deeply about life, that's what's happening all the time. You know, we can say, oh, life is very pleasurable. But at the same time that life is very pleasurable, life is very easy, maybe at some time in our life, it's not easy and not pleasurable for someone who's going through pain and suffering in their life. They coexist. And this is what draws us to service. That I look at my life and I say, you know, I'm healthy, I can go out and do this. You know, as I hear, as I see those in need. So as you grow up, you know, think about your education. Your education isn't for you. I mean, it is for you. Shinran Shonin says, benefiting self, benefiting others. When you benefit others, you benefit yourself. When you study and you become a person who can do things in the world, you know, whether you become a medical doctor or whether you become a crane operator or whatever you do in your life, you're not, in benefiting other people, you really are benefiting your true self. Sometimes we forget the word noble. Noble is really important in the Four Noble Truths. What's a noble truth? Not just what is a truth, but something that benefits self and benefits others. And in order to do that, we have to be prepared, you know. And in order to be prepared mentally, spiritually, we need to study and to listen deeply. You know, we need to listen to our Dharma school teachers. We need to listen to the ministers, Kusunoki Sensei, and someone who might substitute for him sometimes. And so I guarantee you, on Earth Day, if you listen to the Dharma, you will become an ecologist. You will become a conservationist. You will be prepared to take care of the earth, which is in great need, which is crying out to us for help. It's our mother. The earth is our mother. And so our mother is in need. Our mother is beautiful, but our mother is in need. And we need to reach out, think about how we can preserve this earth. And I'm sure that John Muir would say, boy, I agree with everything, you know, and he would have a very happy birthday on this Earth Day. So please join me in Gasho. Namanda, vitsa namanda, vitsa namanda, namanda, vitsa namanda, vitsa namanda, vitsa. Whoops, did I stop? I stopped singing. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Sensei, for your Earth Day message. Please stand, if you are comfortable doing so, for the Gatha Golden Chain on page 54. This will be accompanied by members of the Bodhi Ensemble with Kemi Nakabayashi. Please be seated. Okay, some general announcements. April 22nd, the Betsuing hosts the Earth Day and Eco Sangha seminar with guest speakers Dr. Jason Worth from Seattle University, Reverend Castro, and then Reverend Taijo Imanaka from the Koyasan Temple that's across from the park. A vegetarian lunch will be served. Please see the Seattle Betsuing website for additional information and to register for this event. Next Sunday, April 23rd, the Seattle Betsuing Buddhist Women's Association will host the Ashin-Nikko Kakushin-Nikko Memorial Service. The Betsuing welcomes Reverend Nabuo Hanada for a seminar series April 28th through April 30th. There's a lot of announcements today. The Kids Summer Program, a Japanese cultural camp for children going into the 1st grade through the 8th grade of 2023, will be held July 31st through August 4th. Registration information is available on the temple website. Kemi Nakabayashi will now say a few words.
I just wanted to let everyone know how grateful I am to all the people who made today's service possible, particularly to hold the first in-person Earth Day music service since 4 years ago, when we introduced the Sing Namo Amida Butsu Gatha books. And 8 years ago, we premiered Precious Earth as a new Earth Day Gatha with lyrics written by Reverend Castro and me, and completed with the help of Michael Lee, Alex Sakamoto, and Brant Tosaya, who were all scouts and high school Dharma school students at the time. Another scout alumnus, Gabe Shen, recorded the Gatha for this year's Scout Sunday. And for today, we now have this beautiful Gatha video to share with you. I wanted to also thank Reverend Castro for officiating and giving us the Dharma message, and to Eva and Maya for performing Golden Chain with me, as well as to Donna Sasaki and the Sangha singers for helping make the collaborative video for the online viewers. So thank you everyone for attending and watching online. I would like you to lead you in closing Gasho. Please put your hands together. From the collected works of Shinran, page 344, Wasan 39, Hymns of the Pure Land. The delicate, wondrous sounds of jewel trees in the jewel forests are a naturally pure and harmonious music, unexcelled in subtlety and elegance. So take refuge in Amida, the music of purity. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. And thank you, Jason, for chairing. I'll turn it back over to you.
This ends the online portion of today's service.